Relocating abroad can look exciting from the outside, but there are some sides of it that people don't talk about enough. It's been over a year since I moved to Portugal with my family, and I can say honestly that it has been a good experience, but at the same time, it has stretched me in ways I never imagined. Usually, there is a lot of excitement when someone is about to relocate or when someone just relocates. You're thinking about new environment, new opportunities, you're grateful, and you're thinking of avenues for growth and all of that. Yeah, for me, there have been a lot of good sides since we came. We've seen a better government system here. It doesn't mean that they are perfect, but it's way better here in terms of the way the government operates. You're paying tax, but you see your money working. You get value for your money. Yeah, another thing is electricity is really good here. You don't have the problem of power outages. Yes, there was one that happened last year, and I learned that this was the first time it was happening in a very long time, maybe 25 years or 40 years, I don't know. But it was a really big chaos for the people because they were not used to this. In Nigeria, it's a normal thing for you to hear, oh, up NEPA, down NEPA, because they are constantly bringing and taking the light and everything. But here, you don't have these problems of electricity. So, yeah, it's a better system. Transport system is really good, and you have better security here as opposed to all the terrorism, banditry you hear of in Nigeria. And honestly, I sympathize with those families who are going through a lot of these problems because it could be anybody, it could happen to anyone. I hear these days one cannot easily travel from Lagos to the east or to the north without the fear of getting robbed or the fear of getting approached by bandits and things like that. So they are the good sides, yes. But then there are some challenges. Number one was the challenge of starting over. We already had some household items back then in Nigeria, which we had to sell off and some of them give away. We had fridge, washing machine, all these things we needed to just sell, bed, furniture. Basically, everything that we didn't have to come over with, we had to sell them off or give them out. And then coming over here, we needed to start buying these things again. And yeah, this is one of the challenges you face when you're moving to a new country. Number two, the cost of living. Yeah, I know things are getting more expensive now in Nigeria with the inflation and the problem with the government and all of that. Nevertheless, it's not the same thing in terms of the cost of living here. For instance, my rent while I was in Nigeria for a whole year, what I was paying is not up to what I'm paying here in a month. So you can imagine accommodation is taking a lot of money already. Number three is the language barrier. For those who are moving to maybe the US or the UK, you probably may not have an issue with the language, maybe just the accent sometimes. But if you're moving to a country where they don't speak the language you already speak, it could be a challenge. Thankfully, in Lisbon, you have a lot of people who still speak English. But sometimes you get to some places, like even some government institutions here or health centers, and then you get there and the people who attend to you don't speak English at all. It becomes a challenge. You have to pull out Google Translate and try to, or you get someone to interpret for you. Yeah, it could be a challenge. In fact, when we moved to the accommodation where we stay currently, I had to call someone on the phone to speak with the agent because the agent could not understand English. So I would speak English to the person would translate to Portuguese for him, and he would speak Portuguese back to her, and she would translate to English for me. It was not very smooth, but thankfully we were able to get what we needed to do done. Also, this language barrier almost made me miss an important office meeting when I just came. I had a meeting in one of our offices and I got to the train station and I was trying to get the right train going to the direction I was heading. And I couldn't really understand how the whole system was working then. And I tried to get someone to explain to me and I couldn't find anyone who spoke English. I would ask, "Você fala English?" And all of them were saying no. Even for the Africans I saw there, because they're mostly Africans from Portuguese speaking country like Angola, Mozambique, and all of them. And many of them I asked were all like, no, they couldn't speak English. I eventually had to go back to the apartment to do the meeting remotely, even though I was supposed to be there in person. Number 4 is adapting to systems. Sometimes getting into a new country could be a pain for immigrants, like getting necessary documents. For us, it was difficult, especially for my family at some point, for some of the documents we needed to get, like the tax documentation, the social security, and stuff like that. Even for my daughter, we were trying to get an appointment for her vaccination because when we came in, she was just 4 months old, and we tried to get to the health center to get an appointment for the vaccination. It was a pain. They will tell us, oh, you don't have residence card yet for her, so we cannot give you health number. Oh, we are too loaded in this health center, you need to go to another one. It was really tough. At some point we were wondering, why is it so difficult? In Nigeria we could easily get these things done. And yeah, it's mostly because we were moving to this place and we needed to understand the way things were working here. And yeah, it could be a major problem adapting to the system when you're moving to a new country. Okay, number 5 is identity shift, emotional adjustment. Beyond just the relocation, the documents you need to get, settling down, and all that, there is the internal side. Maybe you were known as this kind of person where you were coming from, and then you're coming here and you don't have all the confidence you had before because you're in a new environment. You miss all the familiarity and all of that. You start realizing that the version of yourself which felt very confident where you were coming from is not the same because you're in a new environment. You're trying to rediscover yourself, or the emotional adjustment that you need to do because you were familiar with a lot of things in where you were coming from, the systems, the way things worked. You were already familiar with these things and you miss all of this familiarity. Sometimes you feel lonely, sometimes you feel like you're overstretched. Yeah, these are some of the hidden challenges that come with relocation. Now, in summary, relocation changes more than your location. It changes your perspective, it changes your confidence, sometimes it changes your identity. But yeah, even with the challenges, I'm grateful for the growth that has come with the journey. It has taught me resilience, it has taught me adaptability. And yeah, I'm thankful. All right, that's about it for this video. You can let me know in the comments what you would like me to talk about in my upcoming videos, and I'll make sure to check them. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Ciao, ciao.